Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. This is what month is it? My March wrap up. Okay, it is April. How is that even possible? I don't even know. I keep thinking that this month now is March. So if I keep referencing the previous month as February, I apologize. I'm not going to correct it in post. I'm just going to let it roll. You know what I'm talking about. It is April, and the most recent month was March. I read 10 books for March, and I think I did a couple of them as review posts. I'll link the ones that I did that for, and let's get into it. The biggest disappointment was Alex 6. So, Alex 6 is written by Vince Taplin, and it got quite a bit of buzz in my Bookstagram circle. Like, I recognize that not every network of Bookstagrammers is connected to every other network. So, there were several people like through my feed that were really promoting this book, and it uses a bottle of vanilla extract to sort of like the hook, the catch. So I was really curious to find out what that was about, and the book is just not good. So I really should have DNF'd it. It's about a woman who's obsessed with this guy, and there's no reason why she's obsessed with him, but she is, and she really wants to have sex with him, I guess. And I really think that the way that the book is described on the back is really misleading and isn't what's happening in the book at all. There's lots of trigger warnings for it, and lots of misogyny and a couple of racial slur references, and I don't recommend it in general unless you just like kind of like shock fart humor. Then it might be a book for you. I gave it 2 stars. Next, for my Read Women book club, I read The House on Mango Street. I own this book. I may have done a review for it. It is a set of short stories. They're not really short stories. They're more like essays, but not really. And it's fictional, though likely at least partially based on Sandra Cisneros' life and her experiences. So the girl, I believe the main character at the beginning is maybe 10 or 12, and it goes up through her, I believe, starting college. So a little bit coming of age, and it's so well written. Like, the metaphor and the turn of phrase is beautiful, and it's really quick. Everybody in the group really liked it, and I would definitely read more by her. Girl A, if I have not already posted, I will be posting a tea and a book. That is the review for Girl A. Trigger warnings again. It is a child trauma survival kind of story, but would recommend if you're into that. It is not a thriller, which is the way that it's kind of advertised in general, but it is not. The House in the Cerulean Sea. Loved it. It's not going to be for everyone. I believe that the biggest criticisms about this book that I've heard of or read are that some people some people think it should be considered a YA book. Some of the main characters are children, but in my view, and there are probably different views, although mine is correct, just kidding, is that really the main character and the kinds of struggles the main character has are what determine kind of the primary age target of a book. So here we have, I believe his name is Linus. He's 40 years old. He's stuck in a job he hates. He has never found love. Everybody doesn't like him and all of that sort of stuff. The people that he meets that help him kind of think about what his life is about, their kids and another grown-up man. So I do not consider this a YA book. I do think people who enjoy YA might like it because there are some, like I said, there are kids and there's some magical elements. So especially if you're into fantasy, I would recommend this book. I think it's a book that would be widely appreciated for like lots of different kinds of readers. So for that reason, I've added it to my must-read Goodreads shelf. The next book I read, I did it as a buddy read with Sarah Says Read. We have not talked about it. I will have forgotten everything about this book by the time we have a chance to talk about it. It's Ray Bear by Jordan Ifieko, and I really liked it. I think I gave it 4 stars. It is a story about a girl who is... lots of stuff happens in this book. The world is magical. And she is raised by her mother in a kind of very lonely childhood with the intention of her being prepared to go and be part of the council of the head guy, the king, the voice of the sun or something like that. And she goes there and discovers, you know, all of the things that were wrong with the way she was raised. And she was sent there to be in love with the king in a platonic kind of way. You know, everybody's supposed to love him and all of that stuff. And the goal, and I don't think this is a spoiler really because this is actually, yep, it's in the description. The point of her going there is that her mother wants her to kill the crown prince. And so Tarisay maybe, goes there and is trying to get out of this obligation. So a little Ella Enchanted maybe, but it's nothing like Ella Enchanted. But maybe it is a little bit. No, it really isn't. But similar core concept maybe. I don't know. Anyway, it was really good. I really liked it. And Sarah, you and I still need to talk about this book. Okay, and then the books that I don't have physical copies of, can't show you. Let's see. More to the Story. So I will link in the cards where I talk a little bit more about More to the Story by Hina Khan. It is one of my Rochester TBF books. It's middle grade, family connection, and resilient story. Very cute. Really liked it. Slay, in the same video, because it's a TBF book by Brittany Morris. It is a story about a Black teenager who creates a video game based on Black cultural references, really across the African diaspora. And then bad things happen and she has to kind of figure some things out. Really good. Liked it. Would recommend. And Hazelwood. Yep. So I talk about those 3 books in one video as a TBF check-in. So once I post that, I will link it here. Let's see. House on Mango Street, check. Hazelwood, check. East of Eden. So East of Eden is a very long John Steinbeck novel that I had never read. It was recommended to me for some reason or in some context I've forgotten. And it is about, oh my gosh, I actually think it's about Cain and Abel, to be honest with you. They are referenced kind of peripherally. There's a lot of biblical discussions. You know, there's a lot of philosophical conversation between the men in the book. There's some philosophical discussion between the women as well, but most of the women are not good. I guess that's not true. That's not true. Just the primary woman is not good. So it's about 2 brothers who, one is good, one is bad, and a woman who comes between them. And then the good brother takes the woman to California or somewhere, because this is during, I don't know, like There was a war in the book. When did it happen? Anyway, it's long. It's epic. I actually really enjoyed it, considering that I think 10 years ago I would have thought it was super dry, but I actually really liked it, even though it was really long. So maybe John Steinbeck is somebody that I like more now. You know, I think there's still the problems with classic writers. I don't actually need the N word for any reason in any book, but if you really hate that and don't want to hear that at all, I would recommend not reading this book and certainly not listening to it as an audiobook. East of Eden, Ray Bear, check. Alex 6, don't do it. House in the Cerulean Sea, talked about. Okay, and then the first book that I read of the month was called The Choice. So The Choice is written by a woman whose name I can't remember, and I read it in an audiobook. That's why I don't have it to show you, but she survived Auschwitz and became a psychologist after immigrating to the United States. And she works with high stakes professionals. So she works with the military, police, folks who have seen lots of trauma. So wartime vets and things like that. And one of the ways that she connects with them and really is pursuing her own healing is because of her horrible, horrible experiences in the camps during World War II. So, trigger warnings. I don't know if I have to say that to anyone. Trigger warnings everywhere. There's actually something that she references that comes up into her mind regularly. So I believe as she's writing this, or when she writes this or whatever, she's in her late 80s, I think. She's really older. And when she went into the camp, she's maybe 14. So there are a couple of things that happen that she brings up a couple times that I still think about. And I read this book at the very beginning, about 4.5 to 5 weeks ago. So there have been a couple of times when I remember the thing that she mentions. So if you do not have the capacity for tolerating that, don't read that book. But it's called The Choice. It is honestly such a great story of hope. She goes back to the camps later and to her home and talks about how only 10% of the people came back. And it's a powerful, powerful story, and I would recommend it. It was great, and it is not going to be for everyone at all times. So do take care of yourself. I don't have anything good to show to end the video, so maybe the video is just books today. Ugh, lame. But I will catch you on the next one.